our channel. Hope you had a great week. It is a Tribe Called Dhillon podcast. I'm Angie Dhillon.
And I'm Rose Dhillon.
And I'm Alvin Dhillon.
And I do this every time. So today I'm going to make sure I do this right. So for our YouTube supporters, I'm looking right at the camera this time. And for my Spotify listeners, I hope this will encourage you to come and check us out on YouTube because I think I'm having a great hair day. I would like you guys to, or I shouldn't say guys, because it could be women watching us too, right? It could be gals. So comment because I think I'm rocking a great hair day today. I was just thinking about this the other day because a lot of my colleagues and I've got some friends that listen on Spotify, right? Mm-hmm. And a couple of them mentioned, I haven't gone to your YouTube channel to check you guys out. And I'm like, well, why the hell do I do my hair and my makeup then if ain't nobody going to come and be like listening to us? And so when I was looking back at some of our YouTube clips, like of our episodes, I looked and my hair was just like a moth. Right. It was just hanging. It wasn't doing anything. It was just a moth. They had no body. And I don't know if you noticed, I was always fidgeting in some of the episodes, like moving my hair out of the way, doing something. And so today I was like, no, I'm going to go and get some fresh new layers. So I went and did that. So please feel free to comment. Let me know if you're loving the layers or, as the hair and the layers start to grow out, if you think I should leave it longer or if this is working for you. But I wanted to ask you two and get your insight on this. So doesn't it feel freaking awesome when you go for that fresh new haircut, that fresh hair vibe, fresh layers? Like you got an extra pep in your step and all you did was get some pieces of hair cut off. Why is that?
I don't know. I love it when I get a fresh fade and fresh cut. It just feels good. Like you feel fresh. Yeah. Like it was like long overdue. And that feeling lasts for a couple of days and then it lets you upkeep it. But I feel like I last for a couple of days and you're like, okay. I got it. Yeah. But I always look forward to getting a good shave and a good cut.
Yeah. Rose, you?
No. So because they always cut off way more than I asked them to cut off. So I'm always like not happy when I leave the hair salon. I mean, it feels nice to be lighter. I will say the last haircut that I had from Al, I had step in that one.
Oh, that's great. Good. And actually a couple months ago, I actually asked a friend of mine, I said, can you come over? It's like pretty like, it was like, I was desperate. And I said, I really need your help. And they thought it was something really important. I'm like, can you cut 2 inches of my hair off from the back? And they're like, seriously, Ange, this is what you call this over. And I said, yeah, I can't reach the back. And I was just nervous about going to this hairdresser because every time I go there, I go with such long hair. We've got you and I, Rose, have thick hair. Mm-hmm. Every time I come back, like they give me layers and then I end up with like a freaking mullet.
I understand it. Yeah, it's a mullet feeling.
That's what I mean. Once you find a good barber or a good hairdresser, you got to stick with them. I've been going to that same place for like over 10 years now.
But ours is moody because there's been times that we've gone in and I'm like, Tina, like, doing? Like she's not doing what I want. But some days I walk away like jazzy. I mean, mind you, you were such a perfectionist. I mean, Al was like...
Well, my head shape is weird. So you have to have the guy that knows how to adjust the side to make it look straight. You go to people that follow your headline and all of a sudden...
What's your head shape like? Is there such a thing? Like
it goes like up like this and back down in the side. Like so when he cuts it, you just think my head is completely straight like uniform. So that's why I go to him. And whoever I sent to him too, they're all like, yeah, this guy does amazing. Shout out to Nihad and Infusion Hair. You're the man, bro. You're the man.
So anyhow, I want to let you know and let our listeners and our viewers know if you're seeing the layers. Like I'm gonna just touch it right now. One time. I'm supposed to look there because
very Jennifer Aniston. I do like your hair.
Really?
Yeah.
Wasn't Jennifer Aniston's a little bit shorter?
Well, but the same idea with lots of layers.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted some body.
Why don't we just keep a permanent fan here and just have it blow?
I feel like
so you always have that hair blowing in the wind.
I love that look. And we have a family wedding reception in 2 weeks. And I always get my hair cut like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month before an event. Because you know how it takes a while for the hair to grow in a little bit, the layers. Yep. Then it's like that. When it's freshly cut, it doesn't style the way you want it to.
Agreed.
Okay,
I'm glad I don't have long hair.
So Spotify listeners, I got a challenge for you. If you have some time, even 5 minutes out of the day, please check us out on YouTube. We are a Tribe Called Dhillon podcast. Let me know if you're feeling the layers, because I'm feeling the layers. Okay, so before we get into segue, have you guys noticed or heard about anything trending in the news right now?
Ooh, I don't listen to the news a lot, but remember the conversation we had about the 4-day work week? Mm-hmm. That's coming back up.
Really?
It's hitting LinkedIn. Washington Post just made an article on it that it's really doing very well in UK and parts of the US. So that, it kind of things come on a trend and then they take a break and then they come back up again. So that's the only thing that I know.
I mean, that's exciting for those of us that work 5 days a week.
Yeah.
But I got some better news.
Ooh, share. Please
Al,
share.
anything for you?
No, nothing much for me.
Okay, I'm going to talk about this because I saw this earlier in the week and I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was fake news. And then a little while ago, I'm like, I want to know if this is serious or what the heck is going on. We got to talk about Britney Spears.
Oh.
I know you love Britney.
It's Britney.
I love
Britney.
I'm not a big fan, but I'm not going to say I don't
say
like
that.
I don't go up listen to her music. Yeah, how am I going to relate to that?
Mind you, your post, your short on
You said
on YouTube. Oops, I did it again.
Oh yeah, because it's a song that's stuck and everyone has a household name, right? Britney Spears is a household name. Yeah. But I don't dislike her. I just don't connect with her music, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be weird if I did connect with it because I don't know. That just doesn't relate to me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so Britney's back in the news again.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And God, I'm rooting for her. I've always been rooting for her. And I just root in general for all women, like a true feminist. I'm like, you go girl, you got this. After what was it called? The conservatorship.
Yeah.
I was really rooting for her. I'm like, look, the shackles are off. She's going to go and create some amazing music. Let's do this. So I don't know if you both heard a couple of weeks ago, she went to some restaurant and there was some issue with her husband and he stormed and walked off, right?
I think that I heard.
Yeah,
okay.
I heard something like that.
Yep.
Okay. That was like my first sign. I'm like, oh, something's going on. I don't know. So maybe after this episode, I want you guys to go and have a look. This is bizarre. So she, I guess, deleted her Instagram account and now she's back on. She posted something a couple of days ago in an entire Australian accent. She's speaking an Australian accent. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't know she was talented enough to do accents.
It's Britney,
she's
bitch.
dancing around with a couple dresses that I guess some company shipped to her. And she does this weird thing in the video where she goes side to side with the dress and goes, life is like a roller coaster or something. Bizarre behavior. Once again, cry for help.
Oh,
yeah.
I feel bad for her.
Yeah,
She's
I
hurting,
feel bad for
right?
her. I think all those years of medications that they put her on, those antidepressants, the stuff that's messed with her brainwaves, like I just don't know if she'll be able to bounce back from that. Unless she goes to like a deep spiritual retreat, maybe. Yeah. But I feel like they've done a lot of damage to her, like her whole family.
But big props to her fans that got her out of conservative.
Yes.
I don't even know how you pronounce that word.
Conservatorship.
Because if it wasn't for them, she still would have been in it, and they would have been her dad would have been controlling all her finances and whatnot. Yeah. But yeah, it's sad. Just send her lots of love and light.
Yeah,
she's got some loyal fans.
Yeah, she really does.
Man, does she have loyal fans? And it got me. I was when I watched this video, the average person, I'm not going to lie, because human beings, as I mentioned before, we're jerks. I was really sad for her. My heart went out. Old Ange, that's done a lot of work now, hands down, I would have laughed at that image because it's comical, it's bizarre, it's weird as shit. But me coming from a place of empathy and compassion, we got to be nicer to one another. We have to stop this cancel culture, stop kicking people when they're down. We have to be a culture now of like, something's going on. How do we help her before it's too late? Right. And honestly, when you two watch the clip of it, it's really sad. And it also got me thinking, let's be real, you guys. And her entire family took advantage of her. I want to know, where the hell is your mom? Her mom, this is your child. End of the day. I don't care. We will be like 50 years old one day, 60 years old. Guess what? To our parents, we're always going to be their baby and their child. Yeah. So her dad, whatever, she doesn't, her sister, Jamie Lynn, her brother, nobody is there for her. She can join our tribe. I love her. I want to see her excel in life. Yeah. But it also got me thinking, when our podcast and I guess things were going through the algorithm channels, as you say, all of our cousins reached out to us. Right. Did they not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. They sent us some love. The messages were outpouring. And I just remember being so
filled with gratitude. Yeah. I remember I cried that Saturday when I saw all the WhatsApp messages coming in. I was just floored with the amount of love and support. Shout out to the Condola clan. They really really gave us a lot of love. So
yeah, they were kept
nice.
messing with me too. Like I'm sharing as many groups as I possibly can. We just started seeing a flood of people started following us and liking, sending us a lot of love. So appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate our cousins. And that got me thinking, wow, we have such an incredible family. Our cousins are like our cheerleaders. They're rooting for us. I remember a couple of our cousins like, we're going to help you guys go viral. We're like, I don't know if we're ready for that kind of fame. We're not looking for that kind of fame. We're just here to spread some love. But then it got me thinking, Britney, like she's got to have some cousins. There's got to be somebody in her family.
You know what? I think when you're in that industry for that long, you really can't trust anybody anymore. Like you really don't know who you can trust. Now, if your own family goes against you and is just after your money, I mean, let alone how would you trust your cousins or your friends?
Exactly. And it doesn't matter how much therapy you do. If you have your own dad, your own sister, everyone that's stabbing you in the back and they're trying to literally control you just so they can have your money. The one that you have worked for, that's going to, I don't know what it does to your mental psyche because
I'm sure it's probably why,
you can't sleep at night with that kind of stuff. Like imagine if I knew that you guys are here to screw me and just keep me like medicated and keep me going to make more money for me. And then I can tell you what to do. I control your life. Oh man, I'd be like, what's the point of living?
Yeah. And that's why I think the outcry is coming from that because like, we know that family is so important. And if you don't have that support, then who can you trust? Really? Yeah.
What were you going to say, Al?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's sad to see that her in that state. And she's obviously gone downhill and a roller coaster ride. But it's heartbreaking for me to hear that it's just your own family's doing this to you. So that's all over money too. Like, really, is his life that what's all about? It's just money.
Right? Yeah.
Money just buys you things.
We're sending you love and prayers, Britney. We hope you.
It just buys you things and that's about it.
No, I agree. So I was really troubled by that. And I know there's been a couple of things now with her husband when he walked out on her. And then shortly after there was some speculation about her, whether it's substance abuse. I don't know if she's heavily medicated. We don't know anything, but all I know is that here is a beautiful, talented girl. People can say what they want about singing. Heck, I don't have that kind of talent. I can't sing, but she's a great dancer.
She was a great performer in her prime. Like she's in the MTV Awards. She was fantastic.
Yeah, you got to put in that work to become a household name. You can't just come out with one hit and that's it.
Right.
She continuously came out with a lot of hits and she was elevating.
And she entertained. Every time MTV had her on as a performer, you sat back and watched.
I guess she got famous as a child star first, right?
Yes,
shows
the Mickey
Mouse Club. So a lot of times when they're in the limelight for that long at a young age, that it's hard to handle. Like look at Justin Bieber.
We were just talking about that earlier in the car.
Just dealing with love.
Poor Justin.
There's so many people that will literally like hate these celebrities with so much conviction that you're like, how do you hate someone that you act like you know them, like they've done something to you?
Right.
So like clearly it's just a sign of something they're dealing with internally and they're projecting it onto other people. Because I'm like, I don't know them and I can't hate on anyone that I've never been around. And if I have, I don't hate on them. I just say, man, you're dealing with some stuff that you don't know how to handle and just sending you love and light. Like I'm a Bieber fan and so many people you say that to, they get really upset.
I was saying that earlier.
So the people that do get upset, I purposely say it all the time that I'm a Bieber fan. And then you can just see them get riled up and the stuff that they hate, they're hating them on. It's like it can start some of their own insecurities that they're bringing out. And you're just like, dude, like you don't know what it's like to be in his shoes.
I feel and so now that you got me on that, I have a policy that I'm developing and I want like it to go.
You're developing a policy?
Yeah, it's called the LKC policy. And I just feel like if everyone could just walk around with love, kindness, and compassion, the world would be a better place to live. So yeah, that's a policy. I'm actually going to get a sweater made with that logo.
Policy is usually government and stuff.
Yeah, it should just become a policy.
The Rose Dhillon policy.
Yeah, it should be. Honestly,
it's good policy though.
Thank you. I think it needs to be. That's what we're lacking in the world. Exactly. Is no one has enough love for each other. No one has kindness and compassion. Like love your family, be kind to your neighbor, and compassionate for people that do things that you don't agree with, and just wonder what happened to them.
Exactly. And if you don't like what other people are doing, you don't need to consume their content.
Yes.
You don't need to be don't follow the news. Don't go see what they're doing. Why don't you look in the mirror and look at your own self and say, how can I better myself and move forward instead of complaining about other people's lives.
Mm-hmm. All right, you heard it first here, everyone. The LKC policy.
And where are you going to try and get this policy reformed?
Right here on this podcast.
Okay.
And then every episode that's going to be my hit one line is the LKC policy. Mm-hmm. And then when people are tired of listening to it, I'm just going to have it stapled on my sweater.
You know what they have to do? They got to put that kind of stuff in colleges. Like, when you're in elementary school, they have all this like kindness, generosity, all this stuff all over the wall to like get the kids thinking like that. But as soon as you go to high school, all that stuff is gone. You go to college, it's like colleges are look like a hospital. They're like just boxes that you go to. Halls don't have anything that's encouraging or like positive. It's just, I don't know.
But if you think like because it sounds pretty cool, right? Like, yeah, man, I'm supporting the LKC policy. You know, I'm all about that LKC. Then it starts to adopt, and then people walk around with LKC, and they think, yeah,
just to start that trend, hashtag
LKC.
You might be onto something, Rose. Al, to go back to your point, I think in school right now, there's a lot of schools from pre-K to, I think it's grade 7 right now, that are doing a lot of leadership courses.
Yeah.
I know I spoke to a couple of family members and friends that said that school children are learning about leadership. And I think that's something that should be part of the curriculum also going into high school. I know I took quite a few leadership courses when I was in school, and it was also business related, like business leadership. Business leadership is still personal leadership.
Agreed.
It's the same thing. Leadership is leadership at the end of the day. It doesn't matter whether you apply in business or your personal life, but we want to empower people. And when it comes to kids in school, you know, if being a good leader can prevent bullying and all these sorts of things, and I'm all for that. But I think it stems at a really young age, developing people into have that growth mindset into the LKC policy, love, kind, compassion. Is that it? Love, kind, and compassion.
I did it, you guys. I already got my first groupie. Thank you, Ange.
Yeah, they got to take away that being in competition with each other and letting people's egos flare up and say, oh, I'm better than you, or I'm from here. I have money, you don't, that kind of thing. So I think once you start getting to the root cause of the problem and start teaching at a younger age, it's going to help change the mindset of people as they get older. But I also think it depends on what school you go to, because there's people in our area here, you go to some schools, they're not teaching all that kind of stuff. And some districts are teaching that. So I think it comes down to the school and what area you live in as well, too. Some people are more fortunate than others.
Yeah. I just kind of lost my train of thought. Have you ever had that happen to you, where you lose your train of thought?
Yeah, but I'm ready to talk about Bollywood into Hollywood. What was your line? In between Bollywood and Hollywood.
No, I changed it. We can't say Bollywood anymore.
That's just been all my life. It's not going to happen from watching one documentary. By the way, great documentary, The Romantics. Fantastic. I can't change just yet. Give me some time, but I will.
But before we go in, I still want to, I'm really affected by this Britney news right now. Yeah. And I want to just say, what do you think? I mean, I'm sure her managers, people that are in her circle, are concerned, but I'm going to tell you something. There's nothing like your own family. Do you think she's going to redeem herself?
Honestly, I want her to. I just don't think it's possible. I think that there's just too much has happened to her. And again, unless she goes to like a serious intervention where they take the medications away that they're giving her, and you go really down like a deep spiritual path and really like a holistic on your life, maybe. But if you don't, and if you don't really realize like, I got to get help, I got to get out of this environment and around these people and these medications. No, I don't think that you can. I really don't think you can bounce back, especially because she's older. She's 41 now, on towards 42. You know, if you're in your 20s, when your brain is still being able to mold and shift, the older you get, we all know this. We've seen this firsthand. It's harder for people to change. Like I see people in their 50s, 60s are stuck in their way. So unless she's willing to go down, like, I don't know, maybe sit with Satguru for like a weekend, like Will Smith did. I don't know.
I think she has just so much trauma that and the fact that as she's getting older too, she doesn't know what she can trust. She doesn't know who's there for her money, who's there to do something to her. So when you live like that kind of lifestyle, it's really hard to move forward and opening yourself to trust somebody again.
And the importance of that was Al and I watched a podcast. Remember, it was a rapper named Nav that you were really big fan of.
Producer.
And he was saying that, you know, he's like, when you get famous, people out of the woodworks come, and he's like, you start getting paranoid, like, who can I trust? And when he said it the way he said it with such conviction, I realized like, oh, wow, like that's something that they encounter on a day. We don't know what that's like to encounter people constantly trying to come to you for something, and you just don't know who you can trust. That's probably got to be a really lousy feeling. Because I've been in relationships with people where if I didn't trust them, I was like, this isn't going well. I got to get out because it doesn't feel good. Yeah.
I don't know what the stats is on this, but isn't there a saying where, like, I don't know, I'm just going to throw this number out there. I could be wrong, but isn't this where it's like 90% of the world's people are takers and like 10% are givers?
Oh, that low? Ouch.
It's gotta be. I just feel like everyone's always...
like an 80-20 at least.
Like, I feel like everybody wants something from somebody. Everyone is a taker, but nobody really wants to give up something or give anything in return.
I'd say, I don't think I'm much of a taker. Maybe it's that middle child in me. Get anything. So you don't really want anything.
Maybe we don't. Maybe we are. I think we all are to some degree.
To some degree, we want things, but
Like if you think like someone's a positive person to be around, you want to be around them to learn from them. You want to get some more of their energy, soak up some of
a good one.
What their point of view of life is, and that's what I enjoy. That's why I think we're always consuming like positive things, and I look forward to seeing documentaries that are like teaches you things like that one, the romantics documentary you watched about Bollywood or Indian cinema, if they want to call it. But you learned a lot, and I like anything that builds people up and shows like because then it gives you hope too. And I think the biggest commodity or the most important commodity in life is hope.
I agree.
Because if you take away hope, what are you really doing then?
You got nothing left if hope is gone.
Exactly.
And I was also thinking, we forget this because we grew up watching Britney. She's also a mom. She has 2 kids that are teenagers.
Forget about that.
Right? Yeah. And I'm thinking,
because they're not actively in her life. I think I forget.
Because I think when she was in that conservatorship.
I feel like that's the word. Today's word. Conservatorship.
It's a conservative.
Why can't they just make these words simpler for us? Right? Make it all so fancy.
Whatever that word is. But I think that's when they'd taken her kids away. So she was like, had like limited access to them. And obviously with kids, if you're not around them all the time, as they grow, they don't have that connection with you. You could be their mom or their dad, but if they're not spending that day in, day out with you, then kind of have a different cell connection.
But I was just thinking, I feel, sad for the kids too, because, everything that she posts is public. And can you imagine looking at that and what are your friends saying about your mom? And it just got me thinking, what if I posted something like that? Mind you, I don't have any social media accounts, but I have a joint with you two. But can you imagine if I posted something like that and one of you got wind of me doing something like that and be like, oh, we got to help her. And I feel like we need to.
I don't know if we'd help her. We'd call you and be like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And then be
delete that right now.
Or you guys would, and most of the time you guys know my passwords to everything.
I think I would just log in and delete it myself.
I'd be like, what drug are you on? Do you have any more?
I know. You have my house keys. So I know you guys would be like, get a hold of her account. We have to delete this. Take it down right now.
I'm pretty confident that if I couldn't get a hold of you, I would just log into because I have all your passwords. I would go and delete it.
Operation Help.
And one of 2 passwords. Go there and change it. It'll be the same password, just change the number on it.
Okay, so I feel like before we end this off, I feel like I'm really bothered by this because I feel like I'm
surprised you're so bothered when you didn't even listen to her music and you didn't even like any of her music.
No, but she's my
This
age.
is the one that was like the Britney Spears of the house, like all her albums and everything that CDs she burned.
You had her perfume?
Every CD always had to have one Britney Spears song in there all the time. Even right now, her playlist has to have at least a Britney Spears song in there.
Recently it hasn't because she doesn't come out with anything. But I mean, I remember.
Well, you were playing the Elton John one that she did.
Yeah, that's a great track. I used to always play this. You better get to work, bitch. And I used to text everyone with that. You better on Monday mornings. You better get to work, bitch. Because that was a fun song. Remember, better work, bitch. Her song.
See, I don't get to work, bitch. I only saw her the main ones that came out.
And you got her perfume when her perfume went Curious.
I love Curious.
Yeah, you were the diehard fan. That's why you're not more upset by this.
That's because you know what? I've gotten a little older and I just don't keep up with her stuff, and I'm not really actively on social media that I know what's happening. Because I'm out here trying to watch the self-help and the positive stuff, so I don't really know what's happening in her world. But I mean. Again, when I was young, I connected with her, so I still always be a fan, and I do wish her well. I hope that she finds some level of peace in her life because she seems like a genuinely nice human being. Like you can just see her in interviews.
Her soul is soft.
And people are just always attacking her. Like it's got to take a beating when people are constantly.
When you're in the spotlight, you're always going to have people that are hating on you for their own issues, and there's people that do love you that want to see you succeed, but. I think that's usually the latter where you see more people that are like, they're just waiting for you to mess up and so they can tear you down. And then they're venting their own feelings on you and trying to like project their own shit.
Yeah.
But if you look at like people like Will Smith, like you never expect what he did at the award show coming from him to go and smack someone over, like saying a joke about your wife who did look like G.I. Jane. So, like,
and that's a compliment. I took that as a compliment. Like G.I. too.
When you first saw, he was laughing for a second until he saw her face, and then he was like, "Oh, this is the day I'm going to go slap somebody on stage."
Yeah,
like,
and if
on the day, the biggest night of your life, right? On the biggest night of your life.
Talk
I still love Will Smith, but I just think like he that wasn't the right move, man. Like if you did it backstage where it was all after, like he got, let's say he was drinking a little bit and something happened, he smacked him. They're like, oh, Will Smith smacked him, but there wouldn't have been live footage of it.
Right.
This was everyone watching, and then we're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. I feel like in that moment, he almost seemed like he was possessed, right? Because it's like something shifted. Boom, he made that
like
march.
He was proving himself to her, like look, this is how much I love you. I'm gonna go and smack him and risk my career over you. Because at that moment, it was just like something it was just seemed like he's dealing with something, and this was his way. Like, okay, I'm going to show you. And the way he just kind of walked off, like, yeah, I handled my business and I fought for my wife's honor. That was the vibe I got from him, and I was just like, something doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Well, in his speech too, remember when he said love makes you do crazy things? Yeah. And I remember thinking, yeah, that real love doesn't make you do crazy things, but toxic love makes you do crazy things. Yes. Yeah.
So I think maybe there's dealing with some stuff and he's forcing things that should not be happening, and
let it go.
And there's always been so many interviews where he says like, oh yeah, he's like something about, he's like, oh, I admire Tupac because he's like, Jada was always in love with Tupac, and I guess like she wanted to marry Tupac, but I think that didn't work out, or he ended up marrying her because she was always into bad boys. She didn't really go for like the good guys, and Will Smith's always been a good guy.
I love Will Smith. I love the good guy, and I love how he's.
I used to learn so much from Fresh Prince. I love that show.
Yeah, love Will Smith too, but like Britney, he's going through something.
Yeah.
I think all we can do is send everybody love and light.
Agreed. Right? And everyone should do the same thing, not just us. Like everyone should always just, like I said, ready for it?
LKC.
Exactly. If everyone could just have a little bit more of that in their daily practice of their life.
Yeah.
Just be a little better, you know?
I think so. Before we close, I got to say this really quickly, and you're going to start laughing.
Okay.
Do you recall doing this? We used going to Indian reception parties and where they play predominantly Indian music, and you would go to the DJ and request a Britney Spears song. Do you remember you used to do that?
Yeah.
Probably did.
I remember that.
And towards the end of the night around 11:30 when the crowd's gone, there'd be a oops. I did it again.
And everyone leaves the stage except for Rose.
Played with your heart. I can't even think of it. You used to do that, and Rose, the entire.
But at least I waited till the end of the night. Like at least I was mindful of being okay.
No, I think you asked many times, and they just said we're not playing it until everyone leaves.
Yeah, and the funny thing is when that song would come on, or any Britney song, the entire dance floor, all of our relatives that are Indian aunts and uncles would clear off, and you just saw Rose, and you forced one of her cousins to dance with you.
Yep, that's a diehard fan. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Today I would do it to Justin Bieber. Like today, if there was a reception party and I would go to the DJ, I'm like, can you play Sorry by Bieber? Awesome. Can you play Despacito? No, can you play? Like I would just keep begging for Bieber because that's been my jam.
Britney Spears music was always like top level type of music where you just like fluff music. Yeah. Right? But if you actually listen to a lot of Justin Bieber songs, because he has writers that work with him, I think most of them write his music. Yeah. They're really deep. Like he like, touches on topics that people can relate to. Like,
well, it's usually what he's going through in his own life,
exactly.
right?
That one or two albums where he had that breakup with Selena.
Britney could have been Oops, I Did It Again. She did maybe play with someone's heart. You don't know that.
I think with also with Bieber's tracks, I know we've gone to quite a few Indian receptions. A lot of his songs do get mixed up.
Yeah, they get mixed up with their Desi music.
With the Desi music tracks. So they do a fusion of that.
Yep.
But yeah, I that image still laugh. It makes me laugh because you would always go and request help, and you would come and tell me, Ange, can you tell the DJ, like I have a hookup to the DJ. I don't even know whose reception party it would be. I'm like,
it'd be after 30 songs. I'm like, come on, bro. I've asked like 30 songs ago. I want to go home.
Oh, Rose, you love your Britney. We do love her.
Dancing, so that's what was the problem. I love my music and my dancing.
So I think with that said, this is the Save Britney or Raise Britney Awareness episode.
I didn't even know it was going to be that episode. I didn't know this was going to be a Britney Spears episode.
I didn't either, but I'm really excited about it. Thank you for doing that.
Impromptu. I just feel like we have to get this message out because everyone's talking about this. And
but she did say she had a surprise for us earlier. She said you guys don't.
I thought it was going to be candy.
Oh my goodness.
I like the surprise.
Okay, but I also want to, before we close off, I also want to tell you both why I kind of did that. And the reason is why we're going to kind of revert back to our old way of being a moderator and facilitator. Do you recall a couple weeks ago, we actually had a few DMs and a few of our listeners reached out to us and said, could you try and do a little more free flow? Not that I think we're rehearsed, but instead of this whole question asking thing. And we thought, well, that's some great feedback. We'll pivot. We're open to some feedback and suggestions. And that was a hot mess because there's 3 of us in this podcast here. So when we tried to do a couple of weeks ago, and maybe we'll just air that footage for a good laugh for you, and we'll insert it. We're going to insert it somewhere where what not to do. If you have 2 people in a podcast And one person's answering the question, one's answering. There's a little tango, cha-cha-cha, boom, boom, side to side. It works.
Mm-hmm.
You got the three of us. Two of us, Al and I, got some big ass personalities. We like to get things in there.
Mhm.
And there's Rose. Oh, another thing that I want to say, Rose. A lot of people messaged me that I know, friends, colleagues, and I say colleagues because let's be real, I go into the office, and they said they wanted me to tell you that they think you have a really great radio voice and you sound very seductive. And you know what I said to them? I said,
Wow.
oh, that's not what my sister really sounds like. That's scared Rose. The minute I say the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Al, and you know, she's like, hi, I'm Rose. And so I went back to hear you on Spotify and I listened to your YouTube, you know, the episodes of you. I'm going to just say it. You sound like one of those, you know, those, is it called those sex operators? Listen, I'm going to do Rose right now, how she sounded like, why, hello, I'm Rose. So seductive. What's going on in your world today? How are you today? Oh, yeah. Tell me more. So that's
so gross.
And I was listening to you sound very seductive. So I think there's a career.
That's never my intention, but okay, I'll take
and that's
it.
when I say seductive, because in my mind, I was like, it makes you feel sleepy. I was like, you should read like a bedtime story and kids will just fall right
That
asleep.
makes more sense.
So I wanted to say kudos. You're getting some compliments in, but I told everybody, oh no, that's scared Rose.
Yeah.
That's, you know, I said, when you meet my sister, she talks a mile a minute, like blah, 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 blah. And we're like, Rose, you're giving us a headache. Slow down. And it's funny that on camera and on the airwaves, you slow it down the way that we need you to speak in real life.
I guess I'm just trying to be a little more professional and make sure that my message is getting across. Not everyone can understand how quick I speak.
Oh, that
so
voice
I'm just
is
being
back
a little
out.
mindful.
The voice is
I
back.
guess maybe it's my alter ego. I don't know. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seductive.
I don't even know I'm doing it.
So Seductive Rose is going to be signing off. Do you want to sign
Okay.
off or should I?
I will sign up now that you've given me all that power. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time from your busy schedules for listening to us or watching us on YouTube. We are on all social media platforms, Facebook. You can check us out on Instagram and TikTok. And again, until next week, hope you have a wonderful week and thank you and goodbye from us.
Bye.
See ya.